I'm the Energy Director for Bold, Nebraska. I'm also the Lancaster County President of Nebraska Farmers Union, and I'm a fourth-generation rancher. And I've been working with pipelines for the last 22 years. I started milking cows when I was 10 years old, and I think it's interesting that milk in our state is regulated for safety more stringently than oil pipelines. I can take a glass of milk from my pipeline and take it to your house, but it's illegal for you to buy that from me and drink it if I bring it to you. But I find it odd that a corporation can come in and put a pipeline in our citizens' land against their will, and what's in it is poison, but that's legal. I'd like to thank the DEQ for giving citizens a chance to speak today, and I ask that the DEQ seriously consider the concerns brought up by citizens. I also ask for a 90-day extension of the comment period, as well as at least one more public hearing that will be held during the day on a weekend to allow flexibility of scheduling for those who could not be here tonight. As one of the participants in creating Bold Nebraska Citizen Review, which I have here and I will submit, I strongly encourage the DEQ to respond to the questions and concerns described in that review before submitting a recommendation to the government. And I just wanted to talk about a couple things. I'm not going to talk about the sandhills and the Ogallala Aquifer. I think a lot of folks have done that very well tonight, although I do think that using the EPA ecoregions map as a definition, as a tool to define the sandhills, has failed. It has succeeded only in moving the sandhills away from TransCanada's preferred pipeline route. And specifically in the draft report, specifically section 6.44, the economic impacts of spills, nowhere in that section is the contamination of pasture and grazing land addressed. And as a grass-fed beef producer, I find that disturbing. Nor is there any discussion of economic damages due to contamination of livestock water wells. As a livestock producer, I recognize this is a very significant oversight on the part of the DEQ. A huge sector of Nebraska's agricultural economy is based on livestock production, and to ignore the economic effects that pasture damage and groundwater contamination would have on livestock production is negligent, especially in this time of severe drought. Pasture land values, pasture cash rent values, and livestock water values need to be addressed, as these economic elements are huge factors in the agriculture economy and are vital to the livestock industry in Nebraska. Damages to livestock and livestock production must be included in an economic damages assessment. Without this information, the draft report is incomplete. The draft report says that Keystone will carry a minimum of $200 million in third-party liability insurance. That's not sufficient to cover the damages. I've seen the in-bridge spill in Michigan. I've been there. I've seen the damage and met the citizens there. That spill cost over $800 million to clean up. That's 4 times what the insurance policy is. And they don't, because they don't pay into the oil liability trust fund because it's not classified as oil by Congress or the IRS, there's just no money after that. Who's liable if it exceeds $200 million? And kind of related to the leaks, and we've heard a lot about 57 conditions. To me, the 57 conditions are like the special 57 special ingredients in Heinz ketchup. It's just 57 different tomatoes. It's the same thing that they're required to do by law anyway. It's what they do. It's nothing special. Read it. Look it up. I had the opportunity to go to the Pipeline Safety Conference in New Orleans. Is that 1 minute? I talked to Jordan Janik from Plains All-American Pipelines, and he told me that leak detection is not a perfect science, which I find odd. And also Cynthia Quarterman from PHMSA said different people view trust in different ways. And then right after that, I had a chance to talk to Craig Pearson from the President of Marathon Pipelines, and he said slow leaks aren't high priority because it takes a long time to detect them. While the DEQ draft report addresses many important issues, I think ultimately we need to effectively consider the many impacts proposed by the reroute on our land and water. And once again, I encourage you to consider the comments in this document and many other things that need to be mentioned, like the East Branch Verdig Retreat needs to be avoided. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.